Hi, everyone. I'm Ananth Kasturi-Raman, the co-founder and CEO of Skillist. Oh, not a solicitation for financing is what it said. I guess the font changed when we got it in here. So that's the word you can't see up there. Skillist is a skill-based hiring platform that enables employers to hire the very best candidates, regardless of educational background or pedigree. The reason this is so important is because a reliance on resumes has fundamentally broken hiring. We hear all the time about how we're at record low unemployment, there are a record number of unfilled jobs, but the reality is there are tens of millions of Americans who are not being considered for jobs that they would be greatly qualified for because they simply don't have a good way to communicate their abilities and skills, and because companies don't have a better way to figure out who they actually need to be talking to. This all happens because of the way we've built the hiring system around the resume. The reality is, even when hires are being made, the faulty signals of degree-based hiring have been shown to cost employers in terms of a longer time to fill, increased turnover, a greater cost per hire, and a reduction in diversity. This is all, again, especially around entry-level roles. To contextualize this problem a little bit, I'd like to introduce you to Vicky, who is a real Skillist job seeker. Vicky, like many other millions of Americans, started college but couldn't afford to finish through no fault of her own. She worked in a number of different roles part-time, picked up valuable skills that taught her professional experience in the workplace, but couldn't get a full-time opportunity because her CV didn't look right. She didn't have a degree beyond a GED, had a number of different opportunities that overlapped, wasn't able to tell her story in the right way, and struggled to find a full-time role. Importantly, she's not the only one frustrated. Employers are now also realizing they have a massive problem. A number of employers in recent months, and over the last 2 years actually since we started Skillist, have now been increasingly telling us they're ready to drop the 4-year degree as a signal for hiring, but they don't yet have a better alternative. This is why we're building Skillist. Want to quickly note that our team has spent years on both sides of this problem, working both with underserved job seekers and with companies thinking about talent acquisition, and have really believed we've built a problem that can solve this issue from both sides, which is what it'll take to rethink the job application process and hiring system we work in today. What our platform does is effectively make skills the common currency. We're acting as a translator between job seeker and company to tell both sides what they really need to hear. By letting a company better articulate what they actually need to know from everyone who's applying to a job and then giving people a mechanism through which they can express their skills, we're making this process much more fluid and effective for both sides of the market. We're also collecting a valuable set of data that'll allow us to create much stronger feedback loops in the future and predict better outcomes. Here's how it works. For job seekers, they're able to clearly see how the jobs they want to apply to translate in terms of skills, instead of having to rely on if they can understand the job title or the text blocks in the job description. They're able to then explain themselves and their experience in terms of the skills they've acquired, and are able to cleanly and easily get feedback from the company about what the next steps in the process are. For the employer, they're able to actually review everything in a standardized, identity-blind format, which removes a lot of elements of bias from the process. Without seeing names and by seeing everyone structured in rubrics around the skills they actually care about, we're greatly improving hiring outcomes and seamlessly fitting into the hiring process by integrating with job boards and ATSs. Vicky went through our process and was able to communicate how her experience as a manager at Dunkin' Donuts had actually given her all the skills needed to be a customer service rep and landed a job. We've helped hundreds of other job seekers land in interviews with companies they might not have been considered by, and we're seeing really strong outcomes in terms of interview and placement rates. Going to go through this really quickly, but long-term, we see the potential to not only change the way people apply for jobs, but fundamentally also the way they think about which jobs they should apply to and where they can plug skill gaps by integrating with training providers that are starting to think more in a skill-based or micro-learning framework. This is a really, really important opportunity because the world of both education and workforce management is moving towards skills and competencies. There just isn't right now a hiring system that fits into that, and so we can really, really solve that problem by enabling skill-based hiring. Since launching last year, we're now working with many of the best companies in Boston, again, for entry-level roles in customer service and sales hiring. They're moving from pilots into annual contracts, are really excited to be working with us, really believe that our solution is adding a ton of value for them. And so it's been really exciting to see that this is something that is not only creating social good, but is actually very valuable. Great outcomes in terms of, sorry, it says I have some time. Sorry, it says I have 30 seconds here. Is that all right? Great. we're delivering really great outcomes in terms of efficiency and inclusion for job seekers. Interviewers are selecting job seekers at a higher rate. They're seeing a much more diverse job seeker pool. It's incredibly valuable for them. And really redefining the job seeker process and the job application process for individuals. We're in the process of raising a $2 million seed round now to really scale up beyond Boston and take our company to the next level, investing in our team in terms of sales and engineering. And so if you'd like to learn more, would love to chat across the board. Thank you so much.